it's pandemic around the world, I think, but young men, especially in this country, who are just feeling isolated and alone. It's a really bad situation in this country. Mama sent me a video link of a guy, and he was talking about in this country, the numbers of when it comes to suicides, when it comes to homelessness, when it comes to prisons, the numbers of men in these situations are astronomically higher than women. And then this same guy read a lot of the feedback from women, and it was horrible. They were celebrating the fact that men are three times more likely to commit suicide. I just can't, and it's no wonder good men in this world are backing away from women and saying, look, this is not right. And when this attitude pervades, feminists cannot sit there and say we're only about equality. Let me give you a thought, ladies. And I'm gonna get a lot of grief for this. And I don't care. I don't know you, and I ain't scared of you. Okay? If a man is here and you want to be equal, and the only way you can get equal is to band together and tear him down so that you can be at his level, you're not equal. You're not equal. Okay? You're a parasite. I'm not going to go any further into that, all right? Because I will get wound up and get scratchy. Men, you're feeling isolated and alone and lonely. What do? You can't find a good woman these days, it seems like. And they're out there. Let me tell you right now, there's good women are still out there. They come through here. We meet them around, and there are still really good, solid women of values who value themselves, who value the men around them. They're just harder to find. So what's a guy to do? Look, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trained. I don't, okay? I don't know, Uncle Dwayne. You go sit down and have a cup of coffee and a cigar and say, hey man, I don't know what to do. All I can do is give you my view. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. So let's look at it, guys. Loneliness, and what is the answer to loneliness? Well, if you're lonely, it stands to reason that you're not finding people, outside people, that you can connect with on a physical level, an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level, whatever, wherever you're at. Now, it's harder for some people, and I understand personalities. I understand there's difficulty in this. Like, for me, I'm very comfortable in my own head. I'm very comfortable alone for hours at a time, for days at a time. It doesn't mean I haven't felt loneliness. It doesn't mean that I don't feel lonely at times, but it's not acute. It's not something I can't deal with. And to me, from what I see, is the one companion. Let's think this through. The one companion outside of God, if you follow God, if you believe in God and you have Him, then there's always a friend that sticketh closer to a brother. But we're talking about the human issue. The one companion that's always going to be with you is yourself. And I think the first thing we have to do is we have to get ourselves to the point where we don't necessarily need a companion. Now, when God created, in the Bible, when God created Adam, and then He looked down, He looked at Adam, He said, it's not good that man be alone. That's why He created Eve. It's not ideal. But it's doable, and sometimes it beats the alternative. And ladies, it's the exact same thing. It's better to be by yourself than it is to be with a bad man. But sometimes we choose less than ideal companions, because to us that beats the alternative of not having any companion. And the reason why we cannot face the concept of not having any companion is because we're not comfortable with ourselves as a companion. We don't want to be left alone by ourselves with ourselves. So we come in and we sit down and we get on our phone, or we turn on the TV, or we go wherever, we do whatever, because we don't want to face the reality of being by ourselves with ourselves. And so, fellas, I would say one of the things I would recommend that you think about, chew on, look into, is start making yourself a companion that you're comfortable with. Now, that sounds kind of maybe not real mainstream, but if you had a friend, if you had a person you're going to sit down and spend all the time with, what would you want from that person? What would you want? Well, I would want to spend time with somebody who's honest. Makes sense? I don't want to spend time with somebody who's going to be lying to me all the time. Someone who's going to gently tell me the truth about myself. One of the hardest things sometimes for the human to do is get to the point where they stop lying to themselves, where they tell themselves the truth. They speak the truth to themselves. Now, you got to face the reality of who you are. You got to face the reality of what you are. All right? And nobody's going to tell you that like you yourself will tell you that. You want to tell yourself the truth, but you want to tell yourself the truth in understanding and forgiveness. I look back at things in my life and I can't say it was somebody else's fault. I can't say I didn't do that. I can't say this is why I did that, so that made it all right. I mean, all the way back, our entire lives. So I got to tell myself the truth. Yeah, that was not okay. But then at the same time, I have to tell myself that you're a human and you made it right and you're making it right, and it's okay. It's okay. Wherever you've been in the past that's bad, if you're not still there, your companion, which is yourself, needs to feel free to tell you it's okay. That was a bad place to be. That was a bad person to be. But you're not that person anymore, and you're not in that place anymore. But if you're with yourself and yourself is always beating you up, you're not going to want to be with yourself. If I'm sitting out here by myself in the evening by a fire, cup of coffee and a cigar, and I'm constantly beating myself up over my failures in the past, I'm not someone that I want to be alone with. Does it make sense? All right?